So today I talked to the students about scholarship in the digital age, which a lot of research has been changing because of the nature of the internet and digital research tools. You can think about internet research a lot of different ways. There's research about the internet, there's research how the internet is changing society, but we're interested in this particular set of projects that I'm involved in with how the internet has a research infrastructure that enables science and the social sciences and the humanities to advance into new research areas because of the possibilities opened up by high-tech computing. Another interesting question that scientists are trying to answer using collaborative methods is the question of how many humpback whales live in the Pacific Ocean. I did a big project working with marine mammal scientists who look at animals like humpback whales. They're able to take pictures of their tails to identify an individual humpback as it moves through time and space. And through these techniques of sharing these photographs amongst 500 researchers located around the Pacific Rim, they're able to consolidate this data and finally start to answer questions that they haven't known the answer to for the decades they've been trying to understand whales, which is very simple questions in some cases like, how many humpback whales are there? They now know that there's about 15 to 20,000 humpback whales, something they never knew before. Also, where do the whales go from season to season? They knew that in certain seasons they were in one place in the ocean, in other seasons another place, but they weren't sure which groups of whales were going from where to where and how they were migrating and raising their young and feeding and so forth. So by collaborating with the scientists all across the Pacific, they've been able to start to address these questions that are very basic to understanding their subject matter of what do whales do. And so we're interested in topics about how the sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities are really being changed by the ways computing has let scholars and researchers answer all sorts of new questions. And one of the underlying issues that comes up is whether technology is driving scientists to do new things or whether science is pushing technology and making new demands on technology to allow them to do new things. And there's examples of both, and I talked about some of each in the talk, about how some people are finding technology driving them to ask new questions, but other people have long-standing questions that are only allowed to really be answered now that technology is enabling them to do it. For instance, I for many years worked with some people involved in medical research and psychiatric genetics who for 20 years were collecting blood samples in order to try and answer questions about what causes bipolar disorder. And it's only been in recent years when they've been able to start pooling this data not only nationwide in the US but worldwide and start to collect worldwide samples of tens of thousands of subjects and to be able to do large-scale genetic genotyping on these subjects, that they've really been able to start to get closer to possibly answering these questions which can't be answered with small amounts of data. So that example, other examples from things like the Large Hadron Collider to also interesting projects like Galaxy Zoo that's allowing citizens to go in and classify galaxies to help astronomers and astrophysicists make sense of all the data in the Sloan Digital Sky Survey is really changing the way that science gets done and the kinds of science that can be asked as science gets bigger and bigger and requires these large computational approaches in order to be able to address the questions of science.